Hello, everyone. So, we are going to break down a lot of different conversations in this next module or course or portion. But I want to break down first the background of the visa process. Also, I'm going to break that down in a second, the permit. And when I do that, before I tell you step by step what to do, I kind of have to give you exactly all the information that's out there because there are honestly a lot of different ways for you to be in Rwanda legally. So we're going to explore those together. Now, like I said before, do not worry about trying to memorize all of the information right now because I am going to go ahead and do an amended version later on PowerPoint, just kind of breaking down some of the most popular visa processes. So I don't know if you can see my screen or not. I'm moving things around. This is the official board with immigration or migration. And it is, if you see this piece right here, migration.gov.rw. So if you want to get your computer or a laptop or something and follow with me, that is perfectly fine. Now, Rhonda is very, very good at publishing and giving all their information every once in a while. And I'm going to break that down in the next module. There's some information that's not found on their website, but you can call immigration and get that information. And before we go anywhere else, let me go to contact and the contact us. This is the exact information to get all the stuff. You can email and you can email repeatedly. I have done that a couple of times, and you can find out information right here at infomigration .gov.rw or visa migration or permit um, in order to do that. You also can follow on Twitter. Atting companies on Twitter gets you a response. So do know that. Do not be afraid to do that. And also, you have there should be the telephone numbers here. Now, that is how you contact immigration to get additional information because every once in a while, like I said, some things are not quite online. But as soon as we try to find out about it, for those people who are part of my cousin connection, which I will reference throughout this series, we do give that information and boost that. Now I'm going to go back to where we were at the homepage originally. And so the homepage, of course, gives your basic information. But when you're talking about visas, what you will notice here is you have our services and visa. And right here is listed these visas. So let me break this down because I said there's a lot of different ways that you can actually get your registration here. So you have visa waiver agreement, transient due to unforeseen circumstances, crew member, visitors pass. EAC is Eastern African I think it's coalition or conference center, but this is basically um, East Africa. And I'll click that real quick so you can see what that looks like. And oh, East African Community Partner States. And those visa that is given to those people who are allowed to come in, and that's for 6 months. And I believe that is Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania and Rwanda. That's that visa. I'm going to come back here because if you notice, this stays the same. And they have a transient visa, which is a VT transient. So what does that mean exactly? So once you click it, it tells you a person who transits through Rwanda and it's made upon a border post online or any determination. It's a fee of 30 US dollars. It's free for nationals of a country to which Rwanda has a visa waiver agreement. That includes the African Union, Commonwealth, and a francophone. And we don't know what francophone is. That is a French based country. It's a single entry, work is not permitted, and it's for a period not exceeding 72 hours. So that's really what it means by transient. You're really going through. So if you actually heard about at one point where there was the volcano and people were transferring through, that's what they would turn around and get, which is a visa to be able to go through. So here you have your visitor's visas, and there's some stuff in here that's really important. I'm going to show you in a second. You have holiday purposes, and if you click once again, it gives you the details behind receiving that visa. This is for a foreigner who visits Rwanda for holiday, sightseeing, or social recreation, or other short-term reasons other than work. It's issued upon the border post online at immigration or any other place, you can actually click here to apply. It's any genuine travel document valid not for less than 6 months, which is basically your passport. There's a $50 fee, and there's a fee arrangement once again with those same countries we talked about. 70 USD for multiple entries. Work is not allowed. Change of status is allowed, and this is for a 30-day period or of 90 days for multiple entries. And so I'm going to point this one out because this one can be extended in circumstances, but this is also when we talk about um, official visit or people getting a tourist visit extended. It can be extended. Let me pause here because I'm going to go into this in greater detail. But you can come in on your 30-day visa, which is a tourist visa, and you can extend that. You can extend it for different reasons, but it will can extend to 90 days with additional main. This is a diplomat, so this is not quite the same. But if you notice, they all have their different codes and different things. So you can job search here if you choose to. You have business survey, you have medical treatment, you have group tourist, you have East African tourist visa. So let's click on that real quick. And this is a foreign tourist who's planning to visit countries that's established on the East African tourist visa. Dependents are not allowed. And once again, you have your locations. This is $100. This is multiple entries, and it's going to tell you right now it can be extended, and its validity, use, and number of entries depend upon the agreement between the concerned parties. So I'm not going to go into major detail because that's not one of our major ones, but this one is, and this is the V12 reciprocity. So this is one that we have used a lot, and it's a long-term visitor visa issued on a reciprocal basis to a foreigner who visits Rwanda for visit, conference, or any reason other than work purposes. Dependents are not allowed on a V12. Um, this is also done. Now, this is one of those things that's kind of like a because we just know things. It says that it must be issued at an office of diplomatic mission of Rwanda in the applicant's country of residence, meaning you can receive this visa while you're still in the US. And you don't have to worry about sending off your passport. They have always come back. But you can get this one here while you're in Rwanda. So you don't have to be that stressed in order to turn around and get it. Then you can also get it while you're here in Rwanda. So you can do that. Once again, have a passport. It's 160 USD, multiple entries, and there's a reason why. You must leave the country every 6 months underneath this visa, and you will be talked and grilled about it. If you leave afterwards or you don't honor that, you have the opportunity of losing that visa. The visa can be valid up for 10 years. They get to choose. However, once again, we know many people who have received that 10-year valid visa, and it's renewable on application. So that's one of the ones that people are utilizing that who want to move to Rwanda, but they're not looking to do work or business. They're not trying to invest, and they have no problem vacating. And when I say vacating, it's leaving the country and coming back in. And when you leave the country, you literally can go to Uganda or Tanzania. You're just really exiting the country and then coming right back in order to get that one renewed for whatever reasons. So that's one option. Now, here's where things can get a little tricky, but it's not that bad, right? Um, you have visas, and they talk about the transit visa, the visitor visa, visa issued under special circumstances, and then it has permits. Permits is other visas. That's what we call, but they call them permits. So I'm going to click on permits, and we're going to break down some other opportunities here. And you have right at the top temporary residential permits, and then you also have permanent resident permits. So let's go up to this temporary, and all your information is here. Now, these are all the different reasons. And if you notice, these are letters because they're called class something, something, class K, class B, class H, class I. And so you have prospects and mining, agriculture. So for those people who are coming in for agriculture, this is actually when we highlight here, prescribed professionals, um, government or employees, manufacturing and processing. Um, Let me go here. K, person with assured income, which we're breaking down in the next module. don't worry. And then we also have a dependent pass. Now, I have never had to focus on this one, so I'm going to click it real quick. And this one tells you right here this permit is issued to a foreigner who's a close relative or any other person who may be considered as a family member of a temporary or permanent resident holder of Rwanda. And so the dependent of a Rwandan or dependent of a person, a resident permit holder. So I'm going to click that one. And so what this one should be is eligible person, a dependent of a temporary resident permit holder. You make it online. Application letter, visa. This is all your requirements. Application letter, visa permit application form, which can be found online. And I'm going to see if we can go ahead and put that. Photo with white background. Half of the fee paid by the principal applicant. Copy of marriage certificate if you are a dependent of a spouse. Copy of birth certificate if you're a child dependent. Police certificate from the country of residence for the person's previous 6 months for those applicants above 18 years of age. Sorry. Copy of the principal's applicant resident permit. So this will work for if you have children over the age of 18. They would then have to come underneath this and they would show that they are a eligible person or dependent upon you if you have your permit. So this is that paperwork. Here, I'm going to go down to a class K with a little bit here, and that's the assured income. And we're going to really dive into this, but what it tells you here is that dependents are allowed for a class K. Also, it tells you the requirements that are needed in your type of payment. It's multiple entry, but work is not allowed. You can change your status, and it's permitted for 2 years, and you can also extend. I want to go up to a little bit to where it talks about not prospect per minute, prescribed professionals, which we'll break down later. I am looking for, is it Z? Information technology, because when we talk about our business visa. I'm going to put business underneath Z and we will break this one down. So here is where you have your class Z, where you have your Z1, which is an investor, a Z2, which is an entrepreneur, Z31, which is recurring investor, and Z32, which is recurring entrepreneur. So once again, if you click here, I'm going to do recurring because that's not one that we could usually see a lot, but it tells you here a permit is issued to an entrepreneur who is engaged in any other sector of the economy not mentioned in this order, who already acquired a similar resident permit at least twice and needs to apply for renewal. So if you already were on business and let's say it's your fifth year, then what happens is that you're actually moving over now to the Z32. And I guarantee you it's higher, but this is what I'm telling you. Yes, look at the years. You get to have 5 years now for this one because you kind of proven yourself here. So that's what that happens from. And you also need, and this is different, a tax clearance certificate from RRA. And that's actually showing that your business has been in progress and working and moving. So I'm glad that I clicked this one because it really is that extension of you doing business here at a different level. So those are your classes here. And then here's your permanent one. And this is when you can turn around and kind of go for your citizenship, where you're having permanent resident status, who's been legally advised here for 10 years. You have your allowances for your dependents, requirements, any general travel document, photo with white background, application letter, $300. And then it breaks down. It's a permanent visa. So that is if you stayed here for 10 years. And then you have your other ones, which is exceptional consideration. We'll go back to that. Key staff or multinationals, diaspora, spouse. And I'll click that because you just can't just be married. You're going to have to be married to a Rwandan. This permit is issued to a foreigner who is married to the permanent resident permit holder. Dependents are not allowed. Um, and that right there is going to be kind of a technical because you see here, there is a child visa. So that's why. Then you have your information, your copy of your marriage certificate, copy of the principal applicant's permanent resident permit, and of course, half of the principal application fee. And then it's a permanent visa. And so these down here are kind of just breaking down the ways that you can receive your permanent visa. Humanitarian, like I said, that's a new one here for me to read through. Um, this permit is issued on a humanitarian grounds to a person demonstrating the need for protection due to his or her personal circumstances or circumstances behind his or her control. And there you have this here. So this was me going through our immigration website here for Rwanda and breaking down exactly what their services are and what they do. Here's your citizenship information here, and I'm gonna see. And it tells you right here, how can you get citizenship? Nationality by birth on the Rwanda territory, um, nationality of Rwandan origin, nationality by marriage, naturalization. Um, Therefore, right here, where's the application made? And the processing time is about 3 months, and it's about 5,000 francs. So that's $5 US, but that is the process in here. And then here's all of your requirements here. And I'm going to, like I said, break this down in the next module because we're going to talk about these and exactly what some of these documents truly mean. And the purpose of this was just for us to have an intro into understanding the permits and the visas, because many times you might have to actually apply on Irumbo and you might be going under a permit versus what might be a visa. So this is that information, publications, contacting them, additional services, and other things like that. So I thank you for tuning in. And yes, we're coming right back and we're going to break down the most popular visa or permit request and really dive deep into the qualifications and what's needed and how to actually process that information and make sure that you're able to do all the things you need to do properly. Okay. I am stopping the screen so I can wait.
Everybody say kick it, kick it, kick it.